looks like pig farming, but these are simply the workmen getting the track ready at Terre Haute earlier today for the National Championship Sprint Car Race, and they've done quite a job because we had a deluge yesterday. It poured all day and all night, but the redoubtable racing fans of Western Indiana have gathered in large numbers for what should be a great day of action. And while the folks were having fun in the infield, the drivers' meeting held earlier today, presided over by Russ Clendenin, the USAC Sprint Car Supervisor.
Bill Caldana.
Need your cooperation of getting your cars out when we ask you to.
Number 109. Then after the meeting, the drawing of lots by the drivers for the qualifying spots. And then finally, after a long wait, into the cars and ready for action. And in a scene that looks like it's the Hollywood freeway at rush hour, the cars out for their warm-ups, the truck still drying the track, and then the hot laps and qualifying. A total of 59 raced against the clock. Of those 59, the fastest 28 qualified for the preliminary heats. And the surface ever-changing. Very muddy and bumpy earlier in heat number 1, but with the sun baking out the track, they have to apply calcium chloride now to keep the dust down. So the surface ever-changing as we progress through the day in Terre Haute. Welcome to Indiana, a state that is certainly synonymous with racing. When you think about it, of course, you think about the Indianapolis 500, may be the premier event in all of auto racing. But today we come back a bit to the grassroots, the 7th annual Tony Hulman Sprint Car Championship in the West Indiana town of Terre Haute. Hello, everybody. I'm Al Michaels, working today with Chris Economaki, and we say grassroots racing, half-mile dirt track, and the richest sprint car race in America. Well, you've seen what they've tried to do with this track. It poured all day yesterday. Today, just the opposite. It's bright and beautiful. But what about the condition of this track for the race now, Chris?
Well, Al, it's undergone a tremendous change. The sun has been baking it. On the inside, it's hard, almost like asphalt. On the outside, it's very loose and deep. And what this does is pose a problem for the crew chiefs. What tires to put on? And, of course, no one really knows, but the guessing is like this. Some of the crew chiefs will put on a slick tire for asphalt with no tread, take a grooving iron, and cut a tread in it. Now, this kind of tire will go in a car that's going to run low down near the inside where the track is hard and slick. Then there's the diamond type tire, a small diamond. You know, think of women. You know, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Today, a diamond may be a race driver's best friend. A small diamond can go on the right rear. It'll work up on the upside of the track, and then other mechanics think that the wide diamonds might be the one to use on the upside of the track. But in any case, no one really knows until the checkered flag falls.
We've already had the first heat. Sheldon Kinzer won that one, and we're about set for the start of heat number 2, the second of 5 qualifying heats leading up to the 40-lap final. And Billy Carter, great racing fan, the president's brother here at Terre Haute, along with Grizzly Adams, Dan Haggerty, looking on as the cars get set for the start of heat number 2. And the field on the pole from the famous racing family, Gary Bettenhausen, making his home now in Monrovia, Indiana. He'll be flanked by Billy Englehart, midget and sprint car veteran from Madison, Wisconsin. In row 2, Tom Bigelow, the Indy veteran from Whitewater, Wisconsin. And outside Bigelow is Greg Leffler, young up-and-coming star from St. Paul, Indiana. Row 3, Roger Rager, a graduate of what they used to call the Outlaw Circuit. And in row number 3 on the outside, California import Jerry Weeks from Anaheim. And the field rounded out by Rich Vogler, whose father is still active in racing. Vogler from Winchester, Indiana. And we're ready now for the green flag. 8 laps over the half-mile dirt track in Terre Haute. We're underway.
It's a tough race, Al, because 8 laps doesn't give a driver much of a chance to pass. Gary Bettenhausen out in front, and this is a stubborn Dutchman who is really remarkable. His left arm is virtually useless from an accident. He has nerve damage. He puts it up on the steering wheel, and he does everything with the right hand.
And it behooves you to get out in front in a hurry. Not only is it a short and quick race, but you can stay out of trouble, avoid the pack, as Bettenhausen has the lead after the first lap.
Now we can see that most of the fellows are using the high side of the track. One of the drivers likes the low side down there close to the inside. Whoops, Bigelow spins it, and Jerry Weeks skims around. Boy, Weeks did a beautiful job handling by Tom Bigelow, and the yellow flag comes out.
So Bigelow spinning out going into the first turn. Here it is again, car number 43.
The track is pretty rough, Al, and this is probably what sent Tom Bigelow into that spin. 74 is Billy Engelhart. Right behind him is Bigelow. And there he goes. Now look at the handling of Weeks here, nearest the camera. Sideways, he corrects, pulls the front end around, skims by, and just touches wheels as he goes by.
Bigelow spinning out on lap number 2, and we've got a yellow flag. We'll be right back. Well, Tom Bigelow is ready to resume again. Right now, he'll have to start in the last spot. Single file, and the green flag is out after we've seen the first yellow in heat number 2. And Gary Bettenhausen has the lead.
Billy Engelhart right behind, and Greg Leffler lying third. Roger Reger, who was running well on the outside before, tries the inside now, number 30.
Most of the fellas trying to stay on top. That seems to be the spot right now as Gary Bettenhausen has the lead. A good move here by Greg Leffler from St. Paul, Indiana, but he comes down too low, and Leffler gets spun around and into number 43, Tom Bigelow, who winds up upside down in turn number 4.
And you can see why they have roll cages, Al.
Tom Bigelow upside down. The red flag will stop the race right now, and we'll see it again in slow-mo.
Okay, here's Leffler getting a little bit outside, and Reger drives into the backup. A little nudge sends him around, and Reger gets by clean, but Bigelow, coming from last, is on the inside, can't hold it down, rides over the wheel, takes a nosedive, and then as the car comes down, all the weight bias, which is on the left on these cars, topples it over. You can see it dumping on the roll cage, not quite making it all the way over. The shoulder harnesses and the seatbelt keep him in the seat, out of danger.
So Bigelow, who spun out earlier, lands upside down, but out of the car right now and down to Chris.
Tom, first of all, are you all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. There was just a little slam banging around there. Greg spun. I just took this wheel and rolled over. Just enough to put her up on the 2 wheels and then go over.
How bad's the car, and can you continue?
Well, Chris, I really don't know. The power steering's bent a little bit, and we got a radius rod that's bent. I hope we can get it fixed up for the semi.
Is it the track that's so rough that's making this happen, or are you guys just too enthusiastic?
Well, I think a couple of the younger guys are a little too overly anxious and enthusiastic, and little wheel banging going on there, which really shouldn't happen, and that's what causes the whole mess.
Well, it's good to see you okay, Tom. We're going to try and get a word here with Greg Leffler. Greg, you all right?
Everything's all right. Just got nailed there and got spun out. Roger Reger hit me there.
Well, you blame it on Reger. There's always somebody else at fault in these kind of things. Back to you, Al.
Well, Leffler says it wasn't him, huh? It was Leffler who went into Bigelow, causing Tom to go upside down. But let's see if Leffler was right. Roger Reger in car number 30, as Leffler tries to cut through on the inside, and he is right, because it is Reger who makes the initial contact going into the rear of Leffler's car, and then Leffler spinning into Bigelow, who winds up upside down. So Bigelow, fortunately, physically okay, though the car, I doubt, is ready to resume. And, of course, you can see how important all of the safety factors are. Earlier, Chris was able to examine one of the safety factors in detail.
Safety is an important factor to any racing driver, and in particular to a Bettenhausen. Tony Bettenhausen, the patriarch of the family, lost his life in Indianapolis many years ago. His middle son, Merle, lost an arm a few seasons ago, and now Gary Bettenhausen is suffering from a damaged left arm. So a new device called the Lambeau strap is of great interest to Gary Bettenhausen, sitting here with me now. It's a strap that fastens to the forearm and down to the center of his safety belt. Gary, what exactly does it do?
Chris, is designed that in a violent crash where the driver would possibly be unconscious, or the centrifugal force is so great that you cannot hold your arms down, it's just designed to keep you from getting your hands outside the cage or your arms and possibly having the car come down on your arm.
So the strap then comes down and anchors here to the central buckle, which fastens the seat belt, the shoulder harness, the horse collar, all safety devices coupled with a fireproof driving suit and the crash helmet in hopes of making racing as safe as possible.
After the red flag,